Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast, where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 201. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. This is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
Round motherfucking 2.
Yes, again.
We had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So we're back.
Yep, and hopefully it's running smoothly this time.
Yep.
We'll see. We're matching.
We're matching today. We already went over this shit. I love it.
We
Anyways.
We have to repeat it.
Yeah. We got some flag nor fail gear.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just do. We just do.
We love it.
And it was finally a cold enough day where we could put on some sweaters. And so it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love sweater weather. I can't wait for fall.
I love summer.
You know, like when summer, so it was spring, I'm like, man, I can't wait for summer. Summer hit, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for fall. You know what I'm saying?
You're a child. Anyways, we're going to talk about infrastructure today.
Yes, we are going to talk about infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Mainly, a lot of the info we're getting is from The Time Wealthy Investor 2.0 by Mark Delfini.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the speakers that was at Shaun's recon event.
Mm-hmm.
We did get to talk with him after the fact for a little bit. Got his book, which we already had his book from when he came to talk.
Yeah.
But
now we've got the book again.
Yeah. So what would you... Oh, do you want to read what he wrote in your book?
No, you're good to go.
Okay. What would you define infrastructure as, Shaun?
Fuck, I don't know. What would I define infrastructure as?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably a way better definition in the book. I would just say infrastructure is all of the internal things for a company to operate that you don't see from like the outside perspective in.
Mm-hmm.
The infrastructure's all the little shit, all the mechanisms
Mm-hmm.
that the person doesn't see from the outside in.
Mm-hmm. So I like to think of it as two different analogies. One of them is, which the one he uses is this one. The infrastructure is the train tracks. The process is the train. So the better and further laid out the train tracks are, the faster the train can go.
Ah, that's really nice. Mine sounds like shit now.
That's okay. These are, analogies, not definitions. So the other one I really like is thinking about it as like the foundation of a house. So you have any weak points in the foundation, that part of the house will sag. It will collapse.
I see where you're going with this, and these are better definitions than what I had.
Analogies, not definitions.
Yeah, okay.
And I think I did a blog post about this, like, probably when we started doing blogs, was about, like, infrastructure and the building blocks of the business.
The foundation. Shout out to Nick Hazelwander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude.
Love it. Go ahead. Building the infrastructure of everyone's backs.
Oh, I've talked about it on Instagram, actually. Because there was a day that I went really light lifting deadlifts. But it was because I wanted to make sure my form was still good and I had a solid foundation before adding weight.
Yeah.
So there's, lots of different things in your life that, like, you should make sure that the foundation is good and solid before you start building on top of it.
Right.
So, like you said, the infrastructure is a lot of the small mechanisms. So something you can think about is, like, when you go to a chain restaurant, how often is the experience different from one location to another?
Not often.
Because that is their infrastructure.
Right.
They are told, like, okay, when a customer walks in, you ask them this question. Like, let's go with Chipotle. Like, you ask them what type they're going to have. Are they going to have a burrito, a taco, hard shell taco, soft shell taco? I don't know what else their other options are.
A bowl, babe.
A bowl.
The most important. The bowl.
Whatever.
And then they ask you what rice you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go, what beans you want. Then they go, what protein do you want?
Yep.
Not meat, because I saw this little cuck in there fucking Friday sucking a little schnoz off going, I would like the Sulfritos, which is the soy shit. And I walk up and I see this stuff and I'm like, hey, what's this? And the guy's like, oh, that's like that's the vegetarian option. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, it's like, what's that fake shit?
Tofu?
Tofu. He's like, it's like tofu. I was like, the fuck people getting this for? I was like, I'll take the steak.
Yeah.
Because I'm a man.
So your protein option. And then they go, isn't it the queso guacamole or
Yep. Would you like
pico?
to add queso guac?
Pico.
And then they go into
The vegetables.
the vegetable salsa.
Mm. And then they bring you up at the cash register.
Yep.
And every single time they ask, is this all for you? No. She's ordering still.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, dude, you saw me walk in with her.
Yep.
Of course it's not all.
That's the one thing that bothers me about Chipotle is that they don't do both of ours at the same time.
Yeah. Well, I think there's so many cheap ass some bitches going into Chipotle.
Maybe.
Dude, I saw that a group of 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was like probably like a third trailer and then like a boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they all paid individually.
Jesus.
And then like the girl goes sits right next to the guy and I'm like, I don't know, maybe they're not dating, but like everyone pays separate. I was like, man, cheap asses.
Yeah. But so that's the infrastructure. Someone at some point had to put in place that is the order you ask, and that is how you ask, and all of that. That is the infrastructure, and the train is the worker going through those motions.
Yeah.
So Mark talks about it like with property management, the infrastructure, property management. So one of the main things that you need to be a time wealthy investor is having good property management software. Mm-hmm. And with any business, you're gonna have some type of software anyways.
Most likely. So,
I mean, we'll kind of talk about property management just because he does, but think about it like in whatever business you are in. So like our property management software, we need to make sure that the tenants can pay on there. We should make sure that they can put maintenance requests in, that they can sign leases if we want on there, that they can upload their renter's insurance. There's like a list of things that you need to like think about ahead of time. Like, okay, if I need to get this software, what do I need the software to do for me to be the most effective?
Right.
And a lot of softwares do like 1 week or 1 month free trials. So I do that with as many as you can. Not at the same time, like go 1 month after the other or 1 week right after the other, to figure out which one works best for you.
Right.
We kind of just jumped into Rent Ready for our property management software because we knew other people that were using it, and it was very actually user friendly when I started setting it up. So I was pretty okay with it.
It does most of the shit we need it to.
I think, because it does post our openings too, so it's been really nice.
There's a couple things we could add to it, but for right now, it's just
it works.
So works. Definitely works.
And like honestly, do your research early on in the business because like right now we only have 20 units, whatever. I don't know how many we have. And so right now it'd be a lot easier for us to change to a different one if Rent Ready wasn't where it's at than it would be if we had 200 units. So that's why you need to make sure you do your research very early on in your business. Obviously, yes, you can switch over at some point, but it'll be a lot harder once you're further down the road.
Right. Well, and that's true for like all aspects of business, and like growing slowly for the first few years so that you can like figure out what works best and learning so that as you scale and ramp up, you have those like things put in place, and like you have the train tracks in place, and so you're not trying to like hop on different train tracks when you got a gap,
right?
Because you ain't gonna make it.
And I do throughout the entire like time of your business, do keep checking like other softwares as well. I would say because the one you're using now, like let's say it's pretty cheap or whatever, but if 10 years from now they're quadruple their prices and you're just like, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. Like, yes, this is good, but that price is really killing me.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's going to be a forever thing as your company grows, because there's something that'll work at a small scale, there's stuff that works at medium, and there's stuff that works at like a higher scale, and you just have to adapt and adjust and add it as you go, or like learn about it and add as you go.
And like that was one thing that I liked about Rent Ready is that you can have as many units on there and it's still the same price. There's different features we could add, like accounting features and something else that you can pay extra for, but it's only like an extra $10 a month or something. I don't actually know what it is, but there are things we can add if we wanted to. But I really like the fact that it was like unlimited properties.
Right.
So it's like, okay, then I know that we don't have to change softwares once we get to 100 properties.
Right. All right, what else we got?
So,
we got software.
Yep. Sorry, I got a little dash on my lap. A-list employees. A-list players.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually part of the PEB. Never mind. Accounting. Do your research with your accountants. Accountants are
important.
Very important. They can help you find some like tax credits you could get, or even just tax deductions for you.
They can tell you if you're profiting or not profiting.
Yes. If you don't, keep track of any of your books at all, they can tell you that. They also can make or break your business. There's been a couple businesses in Eau Claire that have had a sad thing happen is they put their trust in their business and their accountant, and then 3, 4, 5 years down the road found out their accountant wasn't actually paying their taxes like they were supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
So
that would suck.
Yeah. So some of those businesses had to close because that's 3, 4, 5 years of taxes that you didn't pay.
Right.
One of the business I think did a fundraiser, and because it was a daycare.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep, they did a fundraiser, so all the people that have used the daycare kind of and the community came together and helped them kind of dig their way out of that.
Yeah, you want to know who should be responsible? The accountant.
100%.
That's why, dude, that is actually important.
I think they did get some kind of charges.
I'm sure. That's what is important about, like, because not all accountants have to carry that, but like CPAs are like have to carry insurance on that. So if they fuck up, it's on them.
Yeah, they're liable.
Yeah, where like you can just have an accountant who's an accountant saying they're an accountant, and they're not like insured, whatever, and so it's not on them, it's on you. And like the property management software, test them out, give them a trial period. Oh yeah, he talks about he tried out like accountants. He tried out so part of the process is all the A-list players.
That's part of the like infrastructure and process, the PEB model.
But it's part of the infrastructure, right? Or no?
It can be, but I mean, you need to put the infrastructure in before you put people in to do that.
That makes sense.
But I mean, so I guess your accountant would be both, because you do have to kind of learn how to like manage your accountant, but also make sure that they are like doing what you need them to do, like are doing that part of the infrastructure for you. And like even your accounting software, like when you find a CPA that you like, ask them what kind of accounting software you should be using. Most use QuickBooks. I think there's other accounting softwares that you can use, but make sure it's something that they are used to and good with and like know the ins and outs. So like my mom is our accountant, and she told us like there's a bunch of stuff on QuickBooks that we have not been using that we should be.
Dude, I know, right?
So she's going to take over our books for a little bit to kind of set everything up and then give it back to us, which will be nice. But yeah, so play around with accountants, CPAs. I think like he said one of the CPAs he tried out didn't get back to him fast enough. And he's like, a lot of times, like, I need to know stuff, like, within 12 hours. And
it wasn't. No. It was like a week.
Was it?
He'd give him like a week at a time, and he wouldn't hear from him for like 2-3 weeks. He's like, I can't operate on 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. So there's that. Automating communications. This is something I think it's very similar to the Chipotle thing. Like, make sure that you have like set scripts for everything. So like property management, he does these the phone lines.
Mm-hmm.
He has like a phone system. So if someone's like inquiring about a property, they call the phone number, and the phone number is one of those automating systems like, please press 1 for
Right.
upcoming rentals.
Right.
And then once I press 1, it'll go through the list of open units. And then once they push that one, it'll go into like the description for it, which you should already have the description for that property anyways for your online listings. But, I mean, it's any business could use one of those at some point. I don't think our tenants don't call us enough that I don't think we need one. Plus, we don't put our phone number on our rental listings anyways. So, and he did say like some places, some cities he's worked in, people call more than other cities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people in Eau Claire call. I think they just they like to go online and click the I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just, me and Brooke just have a simple message that we just copy and paste into everyone that inquires. And we send an application online.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's also automating. It's a set thing that we just have to copy and paste, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Retiring your cell phone. This, I kind of think of it in the fact of like, you should have a business phone.
Yep.
Because your tenants, clients, anyone shouldn't have your personal phone number. Just because of the fact that they can call you at any point in time. And they will. One thing you can do, I don't remember what it is, and I know he talks about in the book, but you can Google it. You can always like forward a call to your phone so they don't know your phone number. Because they would call your business phone, it would then forward it to your phone.
Right.
You can always do that if you just don't have it in your possession or something. But for the most part, you don't really need to have your personal cell phone number out there. Got anything else about that?
No? Good to go?
No. And that also, like, it kind of plays in with the automated communication. Because if it just has, like, if you have the menu like that, then it would make it, they wouldn't have to call you for the same question by 20 different people.
Mm-hmm.
Using others to leverage your time.
Mm-hmm.
This one I think is very interesting. He talks more about VAs, using VAs to do a lot of stuff for you. So like we could get a VA to copy and paste that message in those emails all the time instead of like Brooke or I doing it.
I just don't understand how that's not the process.
Right? That's how I feel too.
Yeah, I ain't tracking that. All right, here we go. Let's go down
But
this.
I guess the infrastructure would be like picking out your VA. Maybe?
Sure.
I don't know.
This is where I think I want to go with it, or I'm thinking, if we're talking about the foundation and the train tracks, we're not even talking about players then. We're
No, we shouldn't be.
We're talking, yeah, because even an accountant, why are we even, like, I don't know, we should be talking about strictly the systems and how you want shit done. Strictly the written down, this is what we do when this happens, this is how we respond. Like, it's the... Like,
it's the standard operating procedures and, like, the FAQs and stuff like that.
Yep, beautiful. The SOPs, standard operating procedures. They have those for fucking days in the military. You just pull out this book of SOPs, and it's like, okay, so this is how we would do this. And it tells you exactly how to, like, run a certain, like, mission, right? It's like, okay, yep, we're doing all those things. That's how we do an attack. And so then, like... Once you have a book of all that shit written down that you figured out, then you add in the process and the people. And so I look at like the infrastructure then as everything written down on how to operate.
Here, the next three I think are more. Those couple I didn't really get why I was part of infrastructure.
Okay.
He has websites and email. This,
Yep.
I think, is a huge part of infrastructure, especially with a lot of... It answers a lot of those questions that you don't need phone calls for. So, like, if you had a website... Like, we only have 20 units. We don't need a website to post all of our open units. But if we had 200 units, and let's say we had some tenants that really liked working with us, then they could go to our website, go to, which units are going to be opening soon. And then in there, we would lay out like everything about it, the pictures, so then they wouldn't have to call us about the same questions.
Right.
And email, you can set up like email or automated responses for email too. And like other businesses, you can even put like your price breakdowns if it's the same thing. Like, installing what are we getting? A chlorine filter is $495. Like Gibson's has that on their website.
Right.
So like we knew ahead of time that that's what we wanted and that's what the price is going to be. We didn't have to call them to be like, how much is this?
Right.
Or like buying dirt yesterday. Their website had all their prices.
Right. Yep.
Office space. I think that's actually like a good part of infrastructure. One, I mean, you could start off small, obviously, but have it set up in a way that like it'd be easy to expand or like to pick it up and put it somewhere else. Because we originally had our office space here, which was just not good, did not function well. And I like the way our office is set up now. For like, we're getting it worked out little by little, trying to figure out where things are. You just look really bored, and I know you're stretching your neck.
Yeah.
Anyways. Sorry, guys. It just really distracted me. But we know, like, in the future, we each want to have our own offices, but we'll have to have, like, a records room with all of our filing cabinets, and we know how the filing cabinets are all going to be organized, because the way they're set up now, you can expand it very easily.
Right.
And managing risk, that's kind of like the FAQ section of an SOP. So at like my current job, there are tons of little things that I have to know that I only use like once, maybe twice a year. So it's nice to have those written down, because if I'm ever on vacation or if I ever leave my job, like that is in writing for someone to look at and be like, okay, this happened. How do I solve it? Okay, she has it laid out right here, step by step. Yeah. Do you have any more with any of those?
No.
Very easily, you can look up on Google how to write an SOP, or you can do it your own way. I like to just do step-by-step processes for everything, or written out, and I write them out like a fourth grader is reading it. Like, I put it in very easy terms to follow. Sometimes I'll even put pictures if it's something that needs that. I make it very, very easy for someone to just go down the line and follow it. But you should have one of those for every single little thing. I'm sure Chipotle has one for how would they wash lettuce? How do you cut lettuce? Like, because they have to make sure that everything is the exact same at every single restaurant. So you need every little detail laid out. What do you got?
No, I agree. That's like what we did with Stable Living. So in 2017, when we started that company, I went and met with Sam's mom, Kim, about how to pay taxes. And I wrote down every step on how to pay taxes, because once a month when we had to pay taxes, I did not remember how to do that shit.
Right.
So I pull out my damn sheet of paper. I go, I click this. Oh, I type in my name, my password. Oh, and then I click this. Then I have to click this, and then I break down to this. And I submit, and boom. And so I looked at that sheet all the time. Like, for the first year, I had to look at that like every month for the first year, and then it was like second nature. But then when I went to train someone in to do that for us, I was just like, hey, check this thing out. It just tells you what the hell to do. And that's how I did it. So, like, let's just do that.
Yeah.
And so, and then we eventually made like a huge systems list with like everything we could think of. Like, you need to find it. You just Control F, type in what you're looking for. Oh, there it is. You click that, and it was linked to the file with the whole thing of how to do that.
Yeah.
And we did that for everything.
You also have to go through your SOPs and processes. I would say at least once, maybe twice a year. Because software's change, software's update, and like if someone on your staff like knows that a software changed, like you better tell them like, okay, we got to update the SOP immediately, and you should make sure it's like dated so you know when it was updated, and always keep the old copies too.
Yep. Yeah, we had to do that shit with claims all the time because they change those portals all the time.
And QuickBooks changes all the time.
Yep. Yeah, that's tough, dude. If you made a system for QuickBooks, holy shit, dude, they change their layout. I would say every couple months, their layouts completely changed.
Which I don't like. They're the most popular accounting software, I believe, and I don't know how they get away with that.
Because everyone's so indebted to them, like everyone's got their shit there. So switching over to a completely new system would be a shit show.
Anybody who's in like software production or whatever makes the programs like that. Here's the biggest pet peeve of any business owner or employee. Don't change the fucking layout to make it look nicer.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Dude, ShipStation did it, but you can stay on the old one, which is really nice, but I'm sure someday they will retire the old one. But every time, like, there's some, like, one feature that I have to switch to the new one for it, but I only ever have to do it, like, twice a year. And so I switch back, and then when I switch back to the old one, it says, like, oh, let's hear your feedback. And I'd be like, this layout sucks. Go back to the old one. Yeah. Amazon did it with their Fulfilled by Amazon portal, and that one sucks. It does not matter.
No, yeah, guys, just keep it the same. It's so, like, if you've been doing it the same way for all this time, don't change it. There's like, yeah, QuickBooks had a thing that just said sales. So if you had anything related to sales, entering customers, invoicing estimates, anything like that, all you did was click a tab that said sales. They do not have that anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they have like customers and vendors. And it's like, okay, great. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And then you go in there and it's not like, here's your invoices, here's your shit. It's just like, here's a list of customers and vendors. Great. I don't give a shit. Where's my invoices?
Right.
Where's my estimate? Yeah, no, anyways.
Oof. So yeah, update your SOPs. Go like every time you get a new question that you don't have, make sure that gets written out immediately.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to put in good infrastructure.
And you will constantly be adding it. You'll constantly be changing it. But it's good to have so you know so you're doing things the same way every time.
And the earlier you start, the better.
Yeah.
Because once you get too big, it's going to take you a long ass time.
Yep.
Gold Star doesn't have one at all. So
dangerous.
And that company's been going for 15 years.
Yeah.
So now, like, I have probably about half of mine done. Carrie has most of hers done. And like these other departments, I don't know if they've even started theirs. But yeah, now we're trying to play catch up and like getting all these SOPs done. And it's just like, okay, but I also have my like actual job of managing that I need to do. But I have to do this SOP on top of it. Right. And it's just been a shit show.
Yeah, where if it would have been taught right along the way, like, hey, once you do this, you immediately start writing an SOP with it. While you're learning it, tweak it as you go.
Yep.
And, cool. All right, guys, that's infrastructure. Very simple. Infrastructure is like the foundation, the train tracks, the shit written down, the whole system on how something operates.
The manual.
That
no one likes to read.
The standard operating procedures. And we will talk about the process next time.
Sure.
So we'll talk about the whole PEB, process, expectation, behavior.
Yep.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I got shit to do in my day. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something and build an infrastructure.
Hell yeah. See ya.
Peace.